What's up, guys? What's up? I was listening to myself and I sound kinda. What's up? I know it's really that's a weird way to start a stream too, but I feel that's not a direct thing my environment has been telling me, but I really think everyone around me think I'm closeted or something. And even when was hearing myself talk in English, there's like a little little gay in me when I talk, which is fine. It's funny how if you're going to adopt certain not adopt but be a bit more feminine or some shit, you're going to be associated so quickly to be gay. It's like people around you need to know, he must be closeted still, or some bullshit like that. Which I really don't know what to think about that. Ain't that my job to know if I'm closeted or not? Why is it you like saying these things, which makes me kind of mad. It's like I don't comes from a good place or like trying to get me whatever to get out of the closet even if I don't feel that I'm in it. It's like that relationship with my sexuality. I guess it's like I don't like penises. You know. But yet it's like everyone around me because I don't bring girlfriend or some shit. It's like, oh, I must be a closeted gay. It feels so dumb, and that's an old people thing too. Like I don't feel I have these problems with people my age. It's just like my uncles and my parents. It's like my grandparents. They approach me. I think a lot with this in mind, which annoys me so much. Which is fine. I don't want to be like, oh, it's bad to react that way. They're just kind of showing their I don't remember what's the name, but their heteronormativity or something. So it's like, oh, if he talks like that, oh, if he is a bit feminine, or if he doesn't bring any girlfriend, he must be closeted. All his problems, he seems so sad. Oh, it must be he's closeted. It feels so infuriating. Infuriating. I cannot say that. Did I say that right? Right? Infuriating. It's like the tone of voice that I use.
Infuriating.
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 Infuriating. So yeah, I know it's not a lot. So I know it's not much. It's just I've been realizing that, and it's like you always see yourself in a certain way, and people around you are going to see you another way, and there's going to be a lot of like dissonance between those two vision of yourself, and I feel it's like what another like side I feel at least with my family, that it's like really shining through. I think there's a lot of dissonance with that too. It's like a lot of times you're going to like think about like, oh, there's like you're ashamed of certain part of you when at the end I really feel it's about I feel people see me in a certain way, which doesn't really works with the perception I'm having of myself. Like we go back to the closeted thing. It's like I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like it's not something I find importance in, and I know where I stand with my sexuality and stuff like that. But it's like people needs to be like, oh, he's closeted or something. Always thinking that it's like, oh my god, it's so annoying. My parents are so good at that to like think they know what's happening in my head or some shit. Maybe that's a parent thing. They think they know better for you, but like it's so for so many times it's like I know about myself more. It's so frustrating when they try to make you believe they know more about you or some shit, or not know more about you, but that the vision they have about you is the one. It's like when it's clearly not. It's like, I don't know, you're feeling. Oh no, if you're feeling that way, it's because of that. When no, I'm such an emo. That's why it's the emo side that's like bringing it out. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's that important. It just like makes me really annoyed, annoyed by that. I wanted to start with that because I was like I said, I was listening to myself and I was like, oh, I kind of sound gay. Which is fine. There's no problem. There's no like, oh, sounding this or sounding that. That's not a thing. That's not a real thing. It's not because you sound a certain way that you are something. I mean, culturally, we kind of associate certain way of talking to like a certain type of person, but still, it's so annoying. Can I just talk normally? Can I just be a bit feminine or some shit? Anyways, today we're going through the iceberg level, layer 3. There's a bunch of things there: clowncore, dadaism, comfy cozy core, yandere, shibuya punk. There's a bunch of there. Goblin core. I feel there's a lot of things there that are kind of just not as deep as I was expecting. They're like just like internet brain rot things now. So that's going to be interesting. Again, they're like aesthetic. The filtering of like the guy that made the aesthetic is like they're like aesthetic that really represent what type of like people they're in, right? It represents like really a certain reflection upon the people that made the the iceberg. So we're going to do that. I not yet because I kind of want to talk more for some time. I feel like this I really been enjoying giving myself some space here. Um, so we're going to do that. I'm going to give myself more space. More space. So the first thing I wanted to talk is like yesterday I went to drink some beer with my friend. It was really enjoyable. It's like a kind of a journal now. It's like this place here before stream. It's kind of just journaling. What's been happening with me? What I think about that. So I've been like I went there where it was really interesting. He wants to do more content with me, so I'm looking forward for that. You know, he been on the stream before when he was like, oh, I kind of want to do more. I was like, oh man, perfect. That's like a nice that a nice way to express yourself, right? And make content is kind of fun. So we talked about a bunch of like little ideas we were willing to try. And at the end of the day, that's the thing. It's like I want to make this stream like a little play area, even if there's no one watching. You know, like as a kid, you're going to try things, even if it's not recorded. You're just going to do it for yourself. And I feel sometimes I want this like little this sort of spirit be more present here. So you know, so really cool things. We talked about death metal. We talked about stuff. I'm trying to see if there's like any really good juicy content that got out of that. You know, great like things that made me more realize. Oh yes, right. We talked about assholes, and that made me really think a lot about like how there's different types of assholes. There's like I really feel the assholery we don't see being an asshole as bad if they're like conscious of it. If someone is an asshole and they know and they're trying to like kind of distance themselves from that, it's like it's less bad than someone that's I think that's like an asshole and don't even want to change. You know, stuck in the ways, being like denying or some shit, which is always what brings me back to like how much do other people know more about you than yourself. Like that makes me question a lot. It's like my parent that keeps saying that, oh, I'm just closeted or some bullshit. Like that makes me question myself too. It's like maybe I am. I don't like dicks, but like maybe I am still super like, which is so fucking annoying. Can we just give up on identities? Can we just give up on that? Is that too late? Oh, you're this, you're that. Please, can I just be? Can I just be, please? Can I just have freedom and do the things I want? Is that too much to ask? Society. Society thing. Okay. So I think I think I'm ready to go for the iceberg. I think I'm ready for to go to the iceberg. There's like no one yet. So maybe we'll wait for like another like 5 minutes. But then we'll just go through it. So we probably have a while to wait, but we'll be fine. And that's the thing. I really hope that now the icebergs were able to give me more information. What I mean by that is that I wish like I could just click on the clown core aesthetic, and it gives me all the things to um be learned from. You know, like okay, there's like the makeup or whatever. There's like the music. So so I guess we can start. I don't see a problem to not start. So here we go. That's the little thing here. That's the one we're going to look at today. Don't you wonder what's inside? What is that supposed to mean? I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Again, it's like I don't want to say it, but I feel like the the aesthetics they put it there are really internet core. I don't think it's like a art thing more than just like the aesthetic that kind of sprung out of the internet, which is still really internet, really like interesting. See like what are the aesthetics that really were more fruitful for the landscape, you know. So it's like which makes sense why you know in the first layer you go with vaporwave and like stuff like cyberpunk vaporwave e-boys because it's all like internet shit. Even like visco girl, I feel like only people on the internet are going to call other people visco girl. Normies are not like calling themselves that. Normies have their own aesthetic iceberg. You see what I'm saying? Like when I talk to people that are on the internet, they're going to just have or like perceptions upon their own aesthetics and culture. I think you know they're not going to categorize the same way. And also, I think the person that made this is also like a lot of like more girls aesthetic. I feel like you know, which maybe could be interesting to see who made that. Silent Chatter. And it's on Reddit too. This iceberg is interesting. Is it free to use to make videos? Go ahead. Just be sure to credit me in the link back to this post. Can I get a quick explanation of the entries of the last two tiers? Changeling core, basically a genre like Goblin core, but for neuroengineering. Well, I'm interested into the methodology here. I want to like point out the methodology here. So some redditor made this, and that reflects I think the choices of that iceberg. I feel the more we go deep into that iceberg, the more I think it's important to understand that that filtering, that concept collage of aesthetics reflects a certain place in time, a certain socio cultural position. Okay, and I think that's important to know. You know, so we're exploring only like one slice of aesthetics. And so now I kind of want to like just deep dive about what do we mean by aesthetic? You know, aesthetic definition. Concerned with beauty or pursuit of beauty. Cambridge. Cambridge or aesthetics as an adjective. Art history. I kind of want to like approach that as a art history thing and see also. Oh, here you go. Philosophy aesthetics investigates the nature of artistic experience, the definition of art. Okay, that's philosophical study of beauty. Blah 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 blah. Historical context ideas about beauty have evolved from Aristotle, focus on proportion, to Kant's subjective view, and later Hegel's concept of art expressing spirit. Notes Stanford Economics of Philosophy. Hegel aesthetic. Well, I just want a certain like briefing. And there are like AI that does that. Hegel aesthetic and philosophy of art forms are part of the extraordinary rich German aesthetic tradition that stretches from blah 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 blah. Hegel's philosophy of art is a wide-ranging account of beauty in art, the historical development of art, and the individual art of architectures, sculpture, painting, music, and poetry. It contains distinctive and influential analysis of Egyptian art, Greek sculpture, and ancient and modern tragedy. It's because I feel like there's something really interesting about like going to the analysis of aesthetics through the right methodology. I feel if we are able to build the right tools for ourselves, the commentary we'll be able to get out of this is going to be way more fruitful. And so that's where I kind of want to like dig deeper into like what does it mean to like appreciate an aesthetic. What can we be said about aesthetics? I feel like sociology. I really approach aesthetics here through a sociological perspective. Like the aesthetic is going to take a form that's going to represent the context it's emerged from, and the time and the social structure that it was around. But there's also like I feel the other times I did that, I was like also approaching it through a certain like psychological way. Is there a way that an individual is going to be more connected to a certain aesthetic? You know, we go to like the skater boy, and I really was almost like doing a analysis about the person, the aesthetic of the person itself, more than just the form and what it means. And so I approach it that way. But I feel like the best interesting thing we can add in another dimension is through like art history. But I never did like actual classes about that. Like I know like the movements, but again the movement thing is like really sociology. You know, it's like there's not a way to like express what are the things that emerge out of something, out of an aesthetic. What is it to be pointing out about the aesthetic itself? I don't want to know the position. I just want to know from the position of the aesthetic itself. Is there something to be said about like the message it tries to convey? And maybe that's sociology, but I'm not sure. And maybe that's where philosophy too like kind of enters. So that's why aestheticism, light and a movement practicing beauty and sensory pleasure, cultural variation, applied aesthetic and design. It focuses on product appearance, usability, and marketability, influenced by cultural perception as detailed on this Wikipedia page on applied aesthetics. You see, I feel there's a lot of thing about like applied aesthetics the way they talked about it. Applied aesthetics is the application of the branch of philosophy of aesthetic to cultural constructs in a variety of fields, artifacts, are created to have both practical functionality and aesthetic affectation. And that's where I feel really that all of this is like really applied aesthetic. You know, like we just like learned that concept here right now, but like it feels really like applied aesthetic. All these things have a content entertainment value out of the aesthetics it creates. And I think that's where there's like a really nice way to approach these things. This feel like content. Clowncore, it's like the name itself like shines through. Like there's an aesthetic that's visual, but the visual as a purpose, and the purpose itself is to just create a entertainment to watch. You know, a visual fun thing, and that's so modern. And you know, so I feel that's how I'm going to approach some of them. I really like that concept. In some case, aesthetic is primary, in the other, functionality is primary. The aesthetic itself just as a consuming thing. At best, the two needs are synergetic, in which beauty makes an artifact work better. or in which more functional artifacts are appreciated as aesthetically pleasing. This achievement of form and function, of art and science, and of beauty and usefulness is the primary goal of design in its domain. But I feel that's where these aesthetics really feel like that a bit. You know, they're like what is going to be applied to like products or your identity. There's like also that thing. It's like the in an era where identity is so important over everyone, that everyone needs to shine their individuality. Aesthetics like that makes for such a fruitful thing for the individual that's going to use these aesthetics to define themselves. And that's why I think like without really knowing, I was kinda also reviewing the person behind the aesthetics. Like someone that's like associated with the grunge aesthetic is going to be like a certain way. Or the skateboarder. I was really like almost like criticizing the person itself. But I feel it's that kind of critique that was like kind of like intuitive came out of like the fact that these aesthetic are also made to be like an identity costume. You know what I'm saying? They are a way of life almost, you know? Where it's like where you go like aesthetics of like art movement, they're not that much that they have part of it that's like more identity based, like you know, like what it means to live that aesthetics. But you know, you know, you see like Club Kid. That's such a just like aesthetic of person. It's like almost like a culture more than aesthetic. That also like I'm not like expecting this guy to be like a culture like categorizer like crazy, but there's a lot of things here that feels like sometimes it's aesthetic, sometimes it's a culture, teen culture, like Club Kids. That's just like a teen culture. It's not an aesthetic. It's just like a subculture. You know, like a lot of times it's like it feels like both of them go really and some aesthetic are going to be way more identity based, and some are just like visual and more about the philosophy behind it. Like Dadaism, that's just like random shit. You know, it's just like there's no sense to it. It's like absurdism, right? Digital art. Here we go. Digital art. Digital art. It tells it like right there. It tells it right there. A new art form struggling for acceptance is digital art, a byproduct of computer programming that raises new questions about what truly constitutes art. And that's why I feel like it puts it like so well. That's why I feel like difficulties like approaching this, like what are the things that are going to define this? Is that art too? Oh, they pointed it really well. Although paralleling many of the aesthetics in traditional media, digital art can additionally draw upon the aesthetic quality of cross-media tactile relationship, interactivity, autonomous generativity, complexity, and interdependence of relationships, suspense, and playfulness. And that's where, you know, that's where it becomes like really weird to approach it. It becomes really weird to approach that. It holds like a political aspect to it because like there's like an identity, there's like a consumerism to it, consumerism, consumerism, consumerism,
Consumerism.
consumerism,
Consumerism.
consumerism,
Consumerism.
consumerism. It's like I'm learning a language. Consumerism. There's like an aspect of consumerism. Okay? Artists working in this type of art often forced to justify their use of a computer rather than a traditional medium, leading to like the debate of Warlow's Brillo pad boxes, a question of what constitutes art. Okay, so that's just a critiques of why digital art couldn't be like traditional art. Oh, it's not big effort. And also, it's like, can we say like Club Kids is an aesthetic? Like what is an aesthetic? Here is like almost like aesthetic is like independent of like art. You cannot even like approach this as art because like the aesthetic here is about like just the cultural significance it holds. So sometimes it's about like the aesthetic, like an art could be it. Sometimes it holds just like a cultural value, like a cultural like organization, you know. Sometimes it's like a kid card that, you know, sometimes it's actually just art. Clown core, sometimes it just feels like a categorization of like people or some shit that I also like holds a certain like cultural value more than the art value. Education and social science. I approach education through aesthetics. Okay. Foucault is there. Fashion design, diligent, humor, industrial design. Again, I'm not really happy with what I'm finding. That studies beauty taste. Artistic creativity. Depends on the subjective experience of the observer. So it comes back to the experience you have from the view of like, watching the thing. I think that's where art can be pretty much anything. Every fucking thing can be art. It just depends how you're going to appreciate it, and that's why I feel you can put club kids here as the same thing as dadaism. It's just like you can see club kids as a aesthetic, and there's like an art of it, or some shit. Even if it's like is watching a tree outside considered art? I mean, there's like an aesthetic of like nature, but like is watching like a tree like relevant to be like the experience of beauty? Okay, I think that's enough. I landscape. I feel it's enough. I don't really know where to approach this anymore. I've got like a couple of ways to like really read these aesthetics. Basic concept, philosophy relies aesthetic properties and object. I don't care. What is this? Aesthetic experience, aesthetic attitude, aesthetic object. That's like psychology almost. So basically, if you have like a feeling about something, about the organization, and you value it, there's like an aesthetic experience. So that's why like fucking everything can be aesthetics. You just need to categorize it. And that categorization kind of shows who the reader enjoys, what it enjoys seeing. And what it enjoy as aesthetics that are dark and more like why is Barrow there? In my head there's like it's just like we have like a little Redditor kid or young that's just like obsessed with aesthetics and categorization. You know? And that person decided to organize it that way. Because I feel if I was doing it, that was not the result we will have. It's kind of like, in a weird way, there's a thing about like, this person making this iceberg show herself, or in my head that's a girl, show herself into that, but maybe it's a him. Show himself. It just shows everything he knows. You know, like a bit like a kid's like, oh look, I know all of this. And all that knowledge represent like so much of that person. So there's something about that. I know it's like outside of like analyzing the aesthetics we're going to go through, but I think there's still a thing about that I feel quite fun. That I quite enjoy. Okay. Classic Marcel Duchamp. What is art? Okay. I think now we got like our cornerstones to approach this better. Yes, there's an identity in there. Yes, there's like aesthetic as art. Yes, there's like cultural just forms emerging and you call it aesthetic, with just like cultural organization, let's say. I don't really know what to call it. Like I've been thinking about that. How can you call the aesthetic value of a culture itself? It's not necessarily art, or there's an aesthetic to it. You know, like the Mayan or some shit, but like, again, I get it. Okay. Okay. Let's start. Clowncore. Clowncore. And that's where it could have been nice to have some viewers right now to send me some cool stuff that represent the aesthetic, you know? So I'm not the only one searching. We add knowledge together, you know? We build something. I'm not alone to build the knowledge. Okay, so first thing first. Clowncore is a band. It's an aesthetic and a band. I know Clowncore because I heard about them before. They're kind of like just weird ass music. That kind of tried to be scary, but at the same time there's like a bunch of like cool music they made. So I don't think that's what Clowncore are referring to. Here we go. It's really like the girly aesthetics, you know? That's so internet. I feel that's such a side of the internet I never been really into. You know? It's basically just like, oh, it's cool, it's clowns. Bright colors, being silly, being the tism. Bright colors. Making puns, you're basically a streamer. You're a streamer, but you dress like a real clown. Bunch of films that are like, it's like circus. It's like it got the circus aesthetic to it, right? It really uses the archetype of the clown, and it just like spins it. Maybe there's also a thing about that, like just like the archetypes of like certain character that's used in these aesthetics, like the clown. That's not even like a aesthetic. That's like your archetype. They just call it clowncore, but like that's pretty much like an archetype that's spun into like a more pastel kind of way, kawaii boy, you know. You see, again, it's like internet core. A lot of like internet influence. I feel like it's not vintage clown. I mean, that's kind of vintage clown. Down to clown. Yeah, it's just like archetype. Can we even call this? Now I'm curious. Can we call aesthetics archetypes? Because that kind of feels like it, you know, just bright colors. And again, it's like a girl thing, like a girl teen thing. It's not manly, dude. It's not like adult core. It's not like maturity core. Okay, kid core. Like I just like expect kid core is just going to be, oh, the aesthetic of being a kid. It's like purity and all that shit. Here we go. Oh, you know what though? There's something that could be interesting about like kid core. You know these places as a kid you go, but like they're like playground inside playground with like big module. They're like bright color and stuff like that. I feel here with kid core, it's not that much about the archetype, but it's really more about like I mean it's around kids, but also like these like little places we have in our cultures for kids, you know, and we sell for kids like, oh, play the module, then you go take a pizza or some shit. Toys. See? Again, I do not like the pictures here. I feel they could have done a better job than that. Toy Story type bullshit, I guess. Again, I don't know why it's like at this point it's almost like just categorizing experiences. The experience of a place that feels for kid, you know, and they call it kid core. For some aesthetic, okay, I feel like the aesthetics themselves hold certain values, certain like colors, not colors, certain aesthetics we're looking at hold certain patterns different than others. It's like kid core, I don't see an archetype. With the clown core, there's like more of an archetype that comes out of the aesthetic itself. kid core feels more about like an experience about a just an experience. You know, it's an experience about like certain places, whether it's like video games or the places as a kid you go into the modules. You know, but also like I it feels the percepts. You know, as a kid you are going to perceive things a certain way, and I don't feel the perception here is about like a kid seeing these places. Like it's through an lens, adult lens, a more developed lens. So I don't. I feel like I said a bunch of interesting things, but now I need to like kind of put them all together. It's like here this aesthetic is more about an experience over a space, and how that space is usually built to create a certain experience. Where Clown Core was really about like an archetype, the clown or whatever, and like the clown got spun into like a teenage girl culture or some shit. Internet too, like of course, it's just like it is twisted the clown aesthetic, the clown archetype. You know, like Disney Pixar, it's so large. It's just the experience of like looking at like spaces that feels childish. You know, it's like when you look at these like little thing we had as a kid. You know, you play like cars with. As an adult, you're going to look at that. And there's going to be like a certain like experience you're going to get out of that place. It's not an archetype. Like it's just like the experience of like how you feel, how you imagine the experience itself. It's like it's the vibe. Again, I think that's why like it's a young thing on the internet to like categorize vibes. It's more in some sense I feel here these scores about like the experience you get from a place is like vibes. That's what they say. Oh, it's a vibe, and it's how to really pinpoint what about the vibe gets a feeling. Okay, kids score. It's like the toys. It's like these modules. It's like the nostalgia you add. It's like a perception of naivety do you have. It's like there's a distance. It's the toys, bright colors. I guess help because like toys kind of, but here is like a lot of girl shit. And I guess I have to categorize them now. I guess that's part of the thing I was like going for. Clowncore, kind of just an archetype. Just an archetype that's got like spin for a teenage girl. See? Nothing much. I think it's just an archetype. I don't feel, I feel there's like, if it was a jester, it could be like cooler. But no, it's just like Clowncore. Kids Core is just like an experience. It's just like going around like these places that feels like kind of kid friendly, like a kindergarten kind of feels like that too. And I think it's like it's an interesting experience that we don't really point out usually. That's why there's like a certain value to like categorizing these, because you never like really think about like what is the feeling of going to a kid's place, a going to these like not industrial but like entrepreneurial kids place toys. Never, you don't really think about like these vibes. But I guess like when you're a teenager, is girl teenager, that's you see it better. And I get it. Interesting. It's a nice observation, nice cultural observation. They just called it kidcore, when it's just like experiencing like a specific social experience, social cultural experience, position, place. There's also that thing. It's like, yeah, you have like an experience from a place, but if you go like Goffman, it's like these places you create, these experience you create, and you call them like kidcore, that experience, that vibe. It's also like specific to a time, a culture, and a position into that culture too. It's not everywhere that you're going to have like a kidcore aesthetic, the kidcore vibe. It's going to be really specific to like toy shops, watching this type of movie, like, you know. Okay, nice, interesting. Webcore, old web. Okay, so that's just again, the aesthetic is just a position in time. It's just like a cultural aesthetic we had in the early internet era, which it is cool, but which isn't. It's cool, but now it's got even like periods like that or like approach into a way to call them aesthetics. Please. Webcore. Okay, I was trying to. There's a fandom. Oh, old web. They seem to have a lot of fan base. People love that position in time. People love what it meant to be old web. And of course, all these aesthetics are romanticized. You know what I mean? To really get the form out and make it more salient, be living it. I feel there's also like a romanticization, which is really important. I feel if you want to really understand also the aesthetic, it's like it's one thing to be like kidcore and understand where it's from, but I think the romanticization adds a lot of oomph. You know, it adds a lot of like salience to the experience you're trying to convey. Guns. Oh, I thought it was guns. Okay, it's like early internet, like Windows XP and stuff like that. I get beautiful aesthetic. I agree. Like for you know, I actually believe they were kind of pretty. They were pretty, and you know, and now you can romanticize it by like comparing it to how it looks today. There was like a minimalism to it, right? Like the organization of like tabs. There was something. There was something. There was something. History. But again, I'm not satisfied. I feel like when I go through the aesthetic, there's something missing. It's like it's one thing to be able to like pinpoint an aesthetic, but there's something else missing here. The culture surrounding the webcore aesthetic is centered on the active exploration and simulation of the old web through modern means. A primary activity is a form of digital archaeology which involves browsing archive like the Internet Archive and music preservation projects like me. Basically doing webcore shit. You see now even like there's a lifestyle to be like the webcore. You need to to be cyber is to use the internet the way it first was intended. That's kind of true though. Like I think like if we just learn about the institution themselves, the dialogue we have toward that institution did kind of change. I feel today's we don't companies and the culture don't approach the internet the same way as in the early 90s. Like you listen to like Bill Gates and stuff like that talking about like these computers. They were really talking about like, oh, it's going to help with the education, it's going to categorize everything, we're going to have like libraries everywhere. When today there's like internet is like has become this thing for like social media. It's just, oh, you connect with others. But that's really interesting to see like that rationality with the institution themselves like evolves through time. And I think there's like this rationality that really also brings a certain like salience to the aesthetic here. You know, I feel that rationality of like, oh, the internet as a place to archive and get everything you need, every information, is, I think there's like a certain nostalgia for that because now today it's about like connecting to people. And I wonder if the institution of the internet is going to evolve again, of course. And I wonder like how it's going to change. Because I feel even right now there's like a certain shift upon like the view of connecting to others. That has become like, oh, now we need to be healthy a bit more. The slop and all that shit. You know, there's like a certain like dialogue that's like emerged out of the internet. Like with politics and stuff like that. Now it's like internet has become a thing to connect with others, not to get information, not to archive and get everything to educate yourself. And I think with the old web thing, there's like important part of the aesthetic is that sort of rationality you're going to have towards living that way, which is really interesting. They put EDM, okay, makes sense. A fake twin, sure. Boards of Canada, yeah, okay. A pretty picture again. Now that you can romanticize it and you're able to like pinpoint what about like this experience was like making you feel a certain way. Now people are able to actually create more out of it. Romanticize and get even more value out of this. Like it's big computers and. Decontextualizing the position in time and the aesthetic makes it you can like reuse it and make something out of it that's like a bit more salient and interesting. Like these things appear probably afterwards. There's like also like a ethereal like kind of vibe to these like stuff. The decontextualization of that period of time makes it able that you can use it to build a vibe, an experience to it. And I feel maybe that's a modern thing, also building experience. The art of making a vibe. And you even see it with music. I know a lot of people are like kinda against like the whole vibe thing. But I feel that's a modern thing that I don't think it was like as prevalent before. Music is kind of has that vibe now. Music is based on vibes, playlists, and stuff like that. Politics. I don't remember like who I saw talking about politics that way. It's like politics are now vibe based. It's about the experience itself. The as a society we value so much the experience, and maybe that's like a consequence of like capitalism, and that stuff, like I wouldn't be able to like make a link there. All capitalism is why today's society is more vibe based in some sense, like the way we consume product has become that the value is upon the experience of the user, and that shines through like other logic, like art. Which is really cool. Really cool, really interesting. I love this. This is one of my favorite. I enjoy it too. I like the cultural significance it holds. I like how people used it. I like the aesthetic it had. So there's like so many ways to like look at like this aesthetic I really enjoy. Nightcore. You see, those are the gifts I need. Those are the gifts I need. Did I just like take it out? How did I take it out? There's a way. Search with Google Lens. Search me that. GIF. I'm stealing it. Ahaha, you're not getting it. Look, I was stealing it. Ahaha. That's not even like internet core. That's not just, that's just like what TV looked like. Like that's an ad from the TV. It was a weird time and place. Whoa! I want this. I want this GIF. I'm going to have like so many GIFs for my space where I yap about. Is going to be great. We're going away from the old internet aesthetic, but Pinterest puts really well. Y2K, and you see, oh, I like this. I like this. There's also like, you see how these aesthetics also like kind of talk to each other all the time. It sprungs out like other aesthetics out of it. And you see what visuals makes it like in both of the world. Both aesthetics. There's also that thing I think I haven't like explored that much, is how much like what aesthetics is going to be linked to another aesthetic. Like how much is a aesthetic fruitful enough to create other stuff. Like I feel like one of the reasons why I also love webcore so much is like how much shit it got, that how much culture got out of this. This is really pretty. This is pretty too. I like this. These like old video games. Yeah, I like this. Maybe it's because like it's like I'm nostalgic for these things too, like as a kid. But there's something about like the link technology, the pictures, like the weird filtering. There's, you know. Again, I'm not able to pinpoint why I have this experience and what is it about, because I can point out like the visuals I see, but there's something more. There's like there's the thing that emerge out of these pictures that create something. Like it's one thing to be able to pinpoint, but like you holistically, there's like an experience that emerge out of these pictures for me. I don't know how to point it out. Maybe that's why I'm like so frustrated, because I want to be able to point out the holistic experience that I get out of these like pictures that I'm not able to do. So you see, okay, cool. Webcore, that's going S. That's going SA. Here we go. Good one. Good one. Oh my god, there's so much. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper and faster, I guess. Because otherwise I'm going to be able to talk about this shit for so long. So weird core kind of gets out of this too. And it's just like you use the same aesthetic, but instead of putting like weird technology thing, you decide to put cool ass rats. Because it's weird. Which, that's pretty much it. It's just like you're going to like use the same thing, but the way you're going to structure the space and what's in there is you try to create like a certain feeling of fear. I don't know how to really call like the feeling of like liminal spaces, but it's kind of the same thing. Maybe I should talk about the feeling. Maybe it's about the feeling, the holistic experience I have. It's about the feeling. Like there's a experience of like owness. Owness. Feeling of owness is a brand for positive media. You know, like you get an awe about something. There's like a positivity aspect to it too. Maybe that's why I need to. Okay, maybe that's where the holistic. What feeling it emerged out of this? I have an awe feeling about like look at this thing. I've got like just a weird positivity. There's like a perception about like the technology that feels like good. There's a you know. Maybe that's where okay, all web is pretty much just that. Okay, it's pretty much the same. Oh my god. Oh yes, cool as this. Yes, gifts, more gifts. Oh, the old meme, all your base are belong to us. I'm saving them. I'm saving these. That's an old meme, all your base are belong to us. You remember that meme? That's pretty sick. All your base or belong to us. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, I want you to keep these. Okay, it's like. Is there a GIF? Is there a GIF somewhere? GIFs? I prefer the other one. I prefer that one, but it's not letting me save the image. Womp womp. Okay, I can like. I can't. I need to organize these cool things here. You see what I'm saying? It's like you know in real life I like to keep like what's aesthetic. You know, it's like organize what's cool like reference like stuff. I guess I kind of want to do that with GIFs. I like movement there. I like the movement in the little computer. Okay, well, I guess we're not getting them. There's a space feeling to that too, I feel. You know, I feel for the old web, there are a lot of like, because of the technology and the future it altered, it feels like we're going like alien mode. We're going like global. There was this feeling too, I feel, that emerge of like that honest and that like positivity about the future that's really old, so that aesthetic together. It's like, oh, you're going to have all the information. We're going to be like able to connect everyone and make everyone like aliens or some shit. Which kind of didn't happen. Really didn't happen. It's one thing to have the ideal, but it kind of didn't went that way. We are not having the future of an aesthetic future people try to say. Okay, so web core, it's just like a bunch of like these liminal space. They're just weird. They're just nice pictures that like doesn't make a lot of sense. Like liminal a bit. Under no circumstances you are like they kind of give me like some schizophrenic vibes too. Like the colors, the lack of like the lack of meaning sometimes it holds the way you have to make a links to stuff that doesn't make sense. Yeah, there's like so much like feeling about it, but that feeling is like a bit that fearness, you know. Maybe it's going to be okay. Thanks, flowing. Oh, my family used to play all the time. It's like empty room. There's like a schizophrenic like vibe to this. Stupid idiot. You know, it's also like the big psychology side to this like pictures. You're to look. It's going to be okay. It's about like your emotion. It's like it talking to you. It's like your thoughts talking to you. You're making meaning out of this. Me. You know, it's quite a weird thing. It's like self-reference. Hey, smiley face. I must escape this simulation. Yeah, that's schizophrenic. Many people have this power. Yup, that's schizophrenic. Weird core, and yeah, that's cool. Have you experienced a bizarre and inexplicable event? Well, you're not alone. You see. I feel these aesthetics are able to like pinpoint that sort of feeling you have while reality itself kind of breaks down. Nope. Same weirdness. Hallucination. Kind of all this shit. You know, like the way you make meaning out of nothing, the emptiness sometimes. It feels of like the fear. Don't you dare dream of a better world. You know, there's like this self-reference stuff too. It's like there's like the fear is also like, yes, it puts like weird rooms together, but it's like with also like a sort of like trauma background, you know, psychological trauma. Like, oh, don't you try to dream of a better world? And it's like something like your fucking narcissist mom would like abuse you with or some shit. You know? And these empty rooms kind of feels like that. It's like there's no personality, there's something missing. which makes for great fear. And like you add that with like being schizophrenic, it's like perfect. Do you want control? Yes, maybe, no. Congrats, you've ruined yourself. You see, we're back to like that self-referring thoughts. But like you hear this, they uses it to make like a certain feeling of like that weird feeling of fear of like reality breaking, of like not making sense to like your environment, like the emptiness of a room. It feels like neglected almost, like, you know. I can relate to any of you. The isolation about it. There's something, you know, it's like I don't know what is it about like a empty room like that. I don't know what is it about the empty room. You see, they reuse the empty room. I don't know what is it about the empty room that's like so weirdly fearful. You know, it's like I don't know what is it about empty rooms. What is the symbolism of like empty rooms here? It keeps using them, and like I understand there's like a feeling that comes out of it. It's okay. Thank you, meme. Wait for me, I'll be home soon. Again, like fuck a weird ass like empty room. Like where's the chair there? I really like these. I really like these. I really like these. It's a me favorite. Look at these rats. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I want these rats for myself. I'm going to steal them. Not steal them. I'm going to... I'm going to borrow them. No, that's the original picture. There we go. Can I save it, please? Yes! Rats! I did have rats growing up. I don't find them weird. I find them really cool. Okay. Webcore? You're going to the A tier. Because you're nice. But you see like how much like the old web like sprung out so much. That's why it's S. And now I feel like if I talked about the weirdness of some of the word Widcore used to create like this sort of sense of liminal, Trauma Core is basically just that. The aesthetic of like that suffering. And yesterday, now I think about it, I had this conversation with my friend where we were like, does art can help deal with bad feeling? Does art help digesting better some stuff you wouldn't be able to otherwise? Oh, I agree that it can like also like makes you more depressed, but at the same time I feel it's like horror films. There's something like almost therapeutic to like consume them, but I'm not sure, because maybe like the thing with the aesthetics today is like you're going to try to adopt the vibe and kind of like not become a victim, but like try to the vibe becomes staying traumatized, you know what I'm saying? So maybe there's that side to like that art that's like not as healthy. It's like a teenager tries to adopt it because he likes the aesthetic. But there's the other side of like I wonder like how much it's like it forces you to watch it and somehow work with it. Hey, that could be like healthy, you know? So I don't know. Maureen also go to that. Where is it from? It's just dark imagery. High pitched vocal with disturbing lyrics about violence and abuse. Jarring contrast, combining unsettling and traumatic themes with imagery of childhood innocence. Okay, it's that contrast. There's also that thing. It's like, okay, contrast. It makes an image. It's for the image poetry. The visual poetry. Making like two meaningful things together that shouldn't go together. The aesthetic meaning comes from this deliberate, okay, juxtaposition, creating a sense of corrupted or lost girlhood. It romanticizes a state of mental illness and abuse. Yeah, but like, I feel like that the problem is not that much about that, but like, yeah, I say that they're romanticizing, making it beautiful, when, but at the same time, it's like, there's a place for art for like this fucked up shit. Because I do believe there's like a way to like, it helps you like more digest this like suffering. I'm sorry, I can't stop. I should have been safe. Ugly rotten girl. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Do you hate me? Yeah, religious abuse. Straight up just fucking, I don't know what that is, but like, that's more than abuse. That's fucking torture. And again, there's like this self-referring thing we saw in Weird Core. We go back to the trying to like explain the experience of someone. What is more experiential than like you put the thought itself, just like straight up the thought. I hope to stay forever. Please let me stay here. You can't be me. Please stop. It's interesting. I wish, again, I feel like I'm missing something out of this. I want like a deeper dive that this fandom is not offering me. But still cool. Troublecore, I feel Troublecore is a bit like, it's gimmicky. It's gimmicky, but it's intense, it's extreme, so there's like a value to that. But not really much than that. I gotta go see. Like, there's an intensity, but like I feel the intensity is just like the aesthetic of like gore. It's like, okay, I don't feel this the best way to like do gore, you know. Okay, how long I've been streaming for? 1 hour. I've got a bunch to go through, dude. Daddy, Y2K. Can I skip some of them? Is there a way to skip some of them? Baddie? That's just a girl aesthetic, dude. That's just a baddie aesthetic. It's just like, oh, I'm a mean girl, dude. Wow. I'm too much of a guy to, like, approach this. Makes me feel gay. I'm so closeted. Those are baddies. Look how cool I am. Y2K. I'm going really fast now. Okay, it's just like a type of girl. It's a type of girl that's like normie, you know? It's like I don't fucking care. Y2K. Okay, that's just an era. Era that's like, it's just like the era. It's like the bunch of aesthetic, but that's pretty much like old web. And Ariego. Mech Bling. Yeah. Yeah, the Bling era. Gen X Soft Club. More natural and down-to-earth version of Y2K futurism optimism. I think that's why people love that vibe, that futuristic optimism. It holds into the aesthetic. That's like 2010. That is more what we have, you know? Green tone color team. I don't like really the team here. It's like fills the metro going to the train station. Ooh, this is beautiful. Beautiful. Really pretty. Really pretty. Victor art, middle art. Okay, there's so much here. So many like cyber like Y2K aesthetics. The Y2K has like such a resurgence. This kind of looks cool, you know. Why can I make my Spotify looks like that? I think it's also like a oh yeah, that's the thing too. It's like the old internet also old. Like there was like such a personalization that we don't have as much today. How weird it is, right? In a society where everyone needs to be like so individual, they don't offer us the tools to be individualized. We don't have like this expression thing, like a banner or some shit. It doesn't exist as much anymore. Chrome core, okay. 90s cool. Fantasy Y2K. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you say. I feel like I've said pretty much everything. Batty is like a normie culture. I don't have much to say because I don't know what to say. But I don't really like it. It's kind of just boring. And Y2K, I mean, I really like it the way they categorize it, but like it's pretty much like old web, right? It's just like 90s aesthetic. It's like a fucking period of time aesthetic. Cultural position aesthetic. Baddie is just like archetype. You know, like what do you have like your culture? It's way easier. You know, those things are more about the vibes and like position in time. Why baddies? That's just a aesthetic. That's just like a archetype. And I don't think archetypes are that good. Oh, there's so much. Dude. We're going fast. Jugalu. Way too much stuff. I'm gonna be a fucking expert after that. Armor car hip hop. Oh, it's like clowncore. It's like Jugalet for women. Okay, it's basically like the Joker aesthetic. Yup, Joker aesthetic. A bit of that System of a Down aesthetic too. System of a Down and what is the other band? What's the other band that's like putting the face? The Slayer. I don't remember. There's like another band. Not much to say here. I have nothing to say here. It's like, you know, it's like it's the name they called one of the era of clowncore. Jugalu is just like one spin. It's kind of just so niche, precise. D, just boring. Dadaism, that's an art movement. That's an art movement. What do I think about Dadaism from the 1920s? It's just weird art. I don't think I'm not a big Dadaist guy. I mean, Marcel Duchamp, that's something else, but you know, is that Marcel Duchamp? Marcel Duchamp, yeah. That's the only piece of art I enjoy because it's like not even art, but now it became art just conceptually. There's collage. I mean, Miro. Can you call Miro Dadaist? I wouldn't say he was a Dadaist. I love Miro just because like it's so half abstract. I guess he was a Dadaist. I guess it came from it where his style was more like half symbolism. It's like almost surrealism, you know? So what do I think about Dadaism? I think I need to put it so I can just go at the end faster. C. No, D, B. B, because that's an art movement. And art movement are pretty cool. Blob Kid, that's just a fucking archetype. I don't have to go deeper into that. I'm just going to go straight up D, because that's fucking boring. Weird Kid archetype that plays the trumpet, literally me. Literally me. I was that kid. I'm putting myself as D. I was a boring. I was boring. Military? That's just like going to the military? The only thing I know about this is like there's like that one anime. That one anime that is like a little girl. Military. Wow! Military Lolitas, wow! It's a big thing. This page is candidate for deletion. Remember to check it. Blah, blah, blah. The page is category error, mistaking a professional and institutional concept. The visual aesthetic. Here we go. I like this word. Institutional concept. Professional and institutional concept. But it does hold a certain like aesthetic to it. Ropes. It fails to define a singular and cohesive aesthetic that exists independently for functional purposes. Yeah, well, that's where you go. Like, what is an aesthetic? What is art? What is not? You know, everything can be art if it's like you value it that way. They put like rainbow movie into that. That's like an archetype. That's just an archetype. It's not even an archetype. It's like just like a, like you said, institutional concept. Nothing to say. I find it like quite boring. Like I don't even feel it's like an aesthetic that much more just a organization that holds a visual uniqueness. Again, it's so hard to like define like fucking like express what's an aesthetic. There's like so much stuff. Atom punk. Atom punk. Futuristic punks. Okay, that's a Fallout. How is it atom punk? It's just Nuketown. I don't understand. That's just like retro futurism. It's like instead. Oh, I understand. Instead of going for vapor, you go for nuclear. It's a nice sci-fi things, and a nice sci-fi aesthetic, you know. But again, it's like you use nuclear for everything instead of vapor. It's kind of just like, you know, it's like a spin. It's like, oh, nuclear now. It doesn't. Oh, it's like just futurism. It's basically retrofuturism. Okay, I'm going to just go for the one that interests me now. Liminal core, no. Dreamy nature, no. Acid wave. It's like rave culture. Creepy cute, no. Acid pixie, no. Baroque, love core. Love core. Let's see love core. That's a cute one. Let's see love core. I'm a lover boy. I need to learn about the love core. That's it. I'm using. This is like a normie thing. They're really normie thing. I cannot talk. I feel like I keep like having this accent in me. Wow, it's like. Wow, okay. Goblin core, love core. That's it. Chibiya punk. I don't want to look at this. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with this aesthetic. I don't care. I'm not doing this alone. I mean, it's just like the aesthetics are boring. They're kind of boring. They don't give me like enough like like I feel like the fun I had, it was like at the beginning trying to like see what is aesthetic and going through the first ones. Now I'm just like I don't care. I don't care to be like a deep dive or some shit. So I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, but that's the end of this one, of this video. So I guess I'll just end stream, and maybe I'll stream later or some shit. I don't know. I don't know yet. But I'm glad I've done that. That was interesting. It was a fun experience, I guess. I don't know. I'm never like quite happy with the experience I fostered for myself. I'm still not sure if I'm happy with this. Do I make sense when I talk about that? I'm not happy about the experience it gave to me. And I'm not sure how to explain. So we'll try to explain it. And anyways, we have to add our gifts while I'm talking about that. So basically, I got this big problem where everything needs to be not perfect, but like I feel like I want to min max my time. And a big problem with that is that it's like, did I spend a nice? Did I spend a nice? Where did I put this? Did I spend a nice hour doing this? Was that a good? Was that good? Was that a good hour to spend my time on? I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. I feel it's like sometimes, you know, it's like you're going to maybe I'm too much into like trying to find meaning out of my time. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much of that. Being too close to the sun once with the weed, and now it's like I keep searching for that high of having constant meaning. Maybe there's something about that. I don't know, actually. So yeah, I don't think I have much to say. I think I summed it I did sum it up pretty well. It was still an interesting stream. There's just a feeling in me that I'm not sure how to point it out. So that's it, man. Take care.